Hello everyone, GWFawkes here with Model Gaming. Welcome to the Model Gaming Show. This is December 14th, nearing the end of the year, and got a good show for you tonight. Couple of interesting topics, and going over some games that I played this year as well at the end. So let's dig right in. Okay, didn't really cover PSX this year, and frankly, I'm glad I didn't. It was pretty boring. Even with the subdued expectations, it was pretty underwhelming. They just brought out developers who talked and then about their games, showed a little bit of footage, whatnot. I do like the Sony execs. I think they're a little bit more lively and blunt and personal, Sean Layton especially. So that is nice to see these people as human. I didn't particularly like the Sean and Greg interaction at the end, just because it's just not my thing. It was perfectly fine. But overall, just kind of a very lackluster experience, I guess you want to say, for the PlayStation experience. We're seeing more of Detroit become human, but we've seen all that stuff so much before that the crowd interaction was nice, but again, it's just stuff we've all seen before. So, moving on from PSX, I obviously didn't attend the show, so I didn't get to see much there, but the PSX, couch experience was just okay. Just thought a couple interesting stories that are entertainment in general that I think are interesting, at least to viewers of Twitch and film, television, that realm. First, the NBA is going to start streaming 6 G League games on Twitch per week. That's going to be held twitch.tv/NBA G League. So G League is just a step below the developmental league, the D League. D League is basically where you go to play and get good, I guess, to go into the NBA if you're not playing abroad. And then G League is just before that, developing younger talent, whatnot. I thought that was a cool thing. Today is Thursday, and right now they're also streaming live Thursday Night Football. So sports are getting into it. I think that's a really cool thing that's happening, and I want to see more of it, frankly. I think it's a great avenue that isn't explored often enough with sports, and I hope they do more. Big news with Patreon. They came out like 10 days ago saying they're going to change up how people pay for Patreon, and that the creators get more. Basically, every creator that I follow came out and said, no, that's incorrect. Most of my followers that are affected are the $1 and $2 subscribers. They're affected the most. Basically, the less you donate, the more you're affected. It was like 35% fee, or 35 cents on the dollar plus a upfront 5% or something like that. So it affects, your dollar does not go nearly as far anymore. So your dollar actually turns into like $1.40, and a lot of people just donate $1 to certain Patreons. Like I know several people that donate just $1 to a bunch of different things because they want to support everyone. They backpedaled on that, said they made a mistake, which is good, but again, they did try something like it. So hopefully they learned their lesson, and it's great that both the people who are providing support for creators on Patreon and the creators themselves all came out in backlash, so that's nice. General multimedia, film, television, Disney bought 20th Century Fox. So that doesn't include anything like sports, news, business. That's just going to all be rolled into one. But I think it's very interesting that Marvel is basically a monopoly, or not Marvel, Disney is basically a monopoly now. And they re-got some big franchises. They got Fantastic Four, Deadpool, the X-Men. So I know people are really excited about that. But at the same time, I do like Marvel's movies. But the phrase I like to use, and what a lot of people use, is cotton candy, right? It's like you consume it, it's good while you're having it, and then that's it. Like, I don't think about it afterwards. Thor, I really enjoyed it while I watched it. It was fun and funny, but after it, I'm just like, okay, that had no weight to it. Like, it's just light and fluffy, and that's kind of how I feel about a lot of the Marvel movies now, and that they're safe. You know, while I liked Deadpool enough, I thought it was a good movie, and I liked that it was risky and that it was trying stuff. It wasn't a fantastic movie by any means, but I liked that it was different. And Logan, same thing. It was just different, and I hope Disney continues that streak and doesn't just keep doing the homogenized version of everything. I'm not saying go the DC route, dark and gritty, because clearly creatively that's not working, but just have fun with it. I never understood why there's not branching movies, like why you can't just have a one-off. Like I don't get why WB or DC and Marvel don't just have Batman one-offs and Wolverine one-offs and any character one-offs. Like, that's the whole beauty of that, is it doesn't need to be a friggin' group team up all the time and co-op movies. Just make a weird little random movie, and they are doing that in television now. Gifted, Runaways, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that it's all Marvel's under one roof, and Star Wars, actually, A New Hope is as well. So good stuff. That's just like a little housekeeping. There's really no new games coming out this week. You got Okami and Orogoa, which has been in the making for years, but nothing of note. So what I want to do is I've got a list of actually all the games that I've played this year across the platforms, and I kind of wanted to just quickly go through it and then highlight the stuff that I like the most. Maybe next week I'm going to try and get through What Remains of Edith Finch and Little Nightmares and maybe one other game before the end of the year, before next Thursday, to do one of these. But I just want to go over real quick, okay, the games that I played. So on PC, these are going to get a little random, okay? I played Alan Wake's American Nightmare, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, Crypt of the Necrodancer, Enter the Gungeon, Hollow Knight, Inside, Invisible Ink, Jotun, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, Strider, The Evil Within, Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. For the Switch, just 3. Project Octopath Traveler demo, which was great. That was like a great hour and a half. Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. And on Xbox One, Axiom Verge, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, Dishonored 2, Earthworm Jim HD, Forza Horizon 3, Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams, Halo 5 Guardians, Hyper Light Drifter, Layers of Fear, Mass Effect Andromeda, Mega Man Legacy, Volume 1, just the Legacy connection, I bounced around in that. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, year late on that. Quantum Break, late on that. R-Type Dimensions, Rise, Son of Rome, real late on that. Tales from the Borderlands, The Banner Saga 1 and 2, and Titanfall 2. So, total of, give me a sec, 19, 13, 22, like the 35 games, okay? So 35 games this year. And frankly, that's up probably because I've been really nailing out games on PC. But just going through those, want to highlight some similar stuff and why I liked them. You know, Hollow Knight and Axiom Verge, similar. Personally, I like Axiom Verge better. It's tighter. I thought it did what it was trying to do better than Hollow Knight. That's just me. I live streamed Hollow Knight full playthrough, and I definitely got frustrated in some parts. I mean, that was like a 25 or 26 hour game that I played, and it wasn't, I think I got like 76% completion, right? But that's not even the true ending. It's especially in the beginning of that game, it's really hard to figure out where there's no direction. You just kind of go, and while that's great for a game that turns out to be 25 hours long when it should be half that, that's kind of my deal. Where Axiom Verge, 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours that I put into it, I thought was perfect. Sweet spot, tight controls. It's another issue that Hollow Knight is. Axiom Verge had damn tight controls, and that's why I liked it so much. And same with Hyper Light Drifter. Same vein, Hyper Light Drifter, like 8 hours. I'm not trying to get all the secrets and stuff like that, but Hyper Light Drifter and Axiom Verge, man, two like old school 8-bit, 16-bit style games that are friggin' awesome. Now, don't get me wrong, Hollow Knight is really good as well. It's just not great like the other two. Just did a full stream of Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. The more I think about it, even though I just beat it last night, that is a damn great game. Might end up being my favorite of the year. It's got a couple other games to contend with, but damn, really good. Nintendo Switch. So I've had it since, I think, late April, early May is when I bought it, and basically for Zelda. Coming off of Skyward Sword, which is like the last Zelda I played, was tough because I hated Skyward Sword. I hated the motion controls. I hated everything about it. It was so freaking slow. I got 10 hours in. That's the only Zelda game that I've played that I like just hard stopped besides the 3DS ones. This, on the other hand, so I've only played 3 Switch games, and they're all like top experiences. Project Octopath Traveler demo was fantastic. I'd really like to play a full game of that. Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, these are both fantastic experiences. Legend of Zelda won Game of the Year. I would have given it to Mario Odyssey over Zelda. There's just some things that Zelda does, like I really didn't like the breakable weapons. And that was a big thing for me. The breakable weapons are annoying, frankly, and the recharging Master Sword. Also, what docks it for me is the shrines. It's just, I'd rather have 10 great dungeons than 120 BS shrines and 4 okay dungeons. Like that's, but it does so much else really well that I really enjoyed that game, but I just thought it was very good, not great. Super Mario Odyssey, I think, is outstanding. It's probably the most fun I've had playing any game this year, in just terms of pure unbridled joy, smiling the whole time. We got Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Dishonored 2, these role-playing games that you can kind of have freedom to do what you want, play a certain style. I like stealth in games, so I played both of those games very similar, stealthing around, trying not to be seen, trying to do those games. I mean, Dishonored 2's level design is crazy good. The Clockwork Mansion everyone talks about, but just overall, that's a really fantastic game. And between that and Dishonored 1, I played both the DLCs for Dishonored 1. I still have to play Death of the Outsider, which I will play, absolutely. Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, not really into their DLC. I eventually played the first Human Revolutions DLC way after the fact, where I got it on the PC, but those 2 games really stand out. Those are going to be in my top of the year. Surprising game in my top of the year. Haven't played a Forza game since Forza 2, and I picked up. I played Forza Horizon later last year when I knew 3 was coming out, just to see how it was. And I like Forza Horizon, but Forza Horizon 3, man, that is a fantastic game. Truly, I know Forza 7 came out this year, but Forza Horizon 3 is just damn an excellent game. It's like an open world freedom driving game. It's really cool. Spent like 40 to 50 hours in that game. Really enjoyed my time with it. Just I really liked the dune buggy, man. Like that dune buggy just made that game for me. I drove that more than any other car probably, and for good reason. It was just so fun to drive and so much fun doing the jumps and the drifts and everything like that. All the races were inventive. My favorite, and it's one of my favorite things to do in video games this year, were the cross-country races. Outstanding. Just so much fun. I replayed so many of those because I wanted to get it like perfect. I'm gonna get a hate for this. I really like Mass Effect Andromeda. I waited and waited and waited because of all the negative press, and bought it for $30, and after it had been patched and like cleaned up, and while there was some jank, I think I had to quit out 2-3 times throughout my playthrough. I played that game a lot, and I tried to do everything. I really like Mass Effect. Mass Effect was my favorite game series last generation, and so it really hurts that it's probably not coming back for a while. And I really enjoyed this game. It definitely felt like, one step forward, 2 steps back in terms of in some things, but I dug the story, and I dug the gameplay and the speed at which it was. I dug the jetpack. I liked exploring. I really liked that game. I'm not going to apologize for it. It was I really enjoyed it, and shit, now for $20 or whatever you can get it for, I'd give it a try, definitely, for sure. Late on these 2, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and Quantum Break. Metal Gear Solid 5 is friggin' amazing. It is, for games I've played this year, I put in like 70 hours, even though it feels completely unfinished in some parts. I don't care. It's fantastic. I don't even like Metal Gear games. I watched my friend beat 1 and 2, never even played 3. I played 4 for the first time when the PS3 came out and really dug it. And this is like the culmination. I really enjoyed all of it. I really enjoyed the story. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but damn, is it just a really fun, good game. You know, the story in Metal Gear is just stupid and crazy and it doesn't make any sense, but I was involved, and that's really all I can ask for it. Bulk these two together, the Banner Saga 1 and 2. If you haven't checked them out, definitely do that. The third one I think is coming out next year, 2018. Really, really good, fun, tactical games where choices actually affect you. The only nitpick I have in both of these games is that it's hard to read what your choices are actually going to do. Like, it's not black and white. You can choose something. And so I found myself, after knowing the first game, playing the second one and getting the outcome that I wanted. Like, I'd look up answers to some questions because I wanted a certain outcome. You can hate me for that, whatever. That's kind of how I like playing games. It's not that I don't like challenges, but like when I get stuck, I'd rather just look up something and get past it. Or if I'm confused on like, I don't want it to feel cheap. I don't want it, and some of the time in the Banner Saga, the answers to your questions were cheap. And I hate that in games. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves in game is cheap. And so sometimes I just found myself looking up answers just to progress. Whatever. And come to another great game released this year. Gosh, was it last year? Last year that I played this year. Don't really play much online multiplayer, but Titanfall 2. That is probably the best shooting campaign. That and Wolfenstein are two totally different types of games, and both are so rewarding. Titanfall 2 was fantastic. I wish I could play a 20-hour game like that with that variety. Maybe me not, or 10-hour game. I mean, the campaign was 6 hours, but if I could play that high quality game every year, we'd consider ourselves lucky. So those are my best games or the games that I played this year, and some of my favorites. Next week I'll probably go over my favorite game of the year. Now that you've got kind of the nominees and the general feel. Really, I played a broad type of games this year. I really branched out, played some different roguelike games, and there's just so many games this year. And I don't even have a PS4 where there's 10 other games that came out that I wouldn't have had time for. That's my problem right now, is that I've got a day job and I'm limited by time. I'm trying, but I can't really delve into a 100-hour game like Persona 4 or an 80-hour game like Neo or that kind of thing. And so I'm struggling to buy. I don't really have a reason yet to buy a PS4, but I will in time. Eventually, when the PS6 comes out, I'll probably buy or a PS5 comes out, I'll probably buy a PlayStation 4 and get all the greatest hits games for cheaper, since it's been a few years now. So thank you guys for watching. If you're watching live, I appreciate it even more. If not, and you're checking out the archive, I greatly appreciate it. This is the Model Gaming Show. You can find me here Thursday nights, twitch.tv/Model Gaming Show. In the new year, I'm going to try and stick to a consistent time. My work schedule's been kind of crazy, so I'm going a little bit early right now, frankly, because nobody's been watching live. But when that is more stable next year, it'll probably be around 7:30. I'm GWFawkes. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm trying to get in my reps and do more, and in the new year that will continue. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and check y'all next week.